Chapter 1. A silent forest in New Mexico. A signal drops from the black sky. It is not a radio message. It is a precise military coordinate. The Pentagon just mapped a specific location. Before this moment, the world was blurry. General navigation was a desperate guessing game. Commanders relied on stars and old maps. One wrong turn meant a total failure. The Cold War demanded absolute surgical accuracy. DARPA initiated Project 621B in total shadows. They did not want to find home. They wanted to guide massive warheads. Precision became the ultimate global currency. Approved under the dark Nixon era clouds. The budget reached millions in secret funding. Space was the final high ground. Scientists gathered in windowless concrete rooms. They designed a cage made of signals. The ionosphere was a chaotic energy barrier. Critics said the signal would simply vanish. They ignored the skeptics and kept building. The mission moved forward without any hesitation. Human intuition was no longer enough. The machine had to take the lead. A new era of tracking began here. The invisible grid was finally waking up. Chapter 2. Why did they risk everything on satellites? The answer lies in the nuclear silos. Old missiles were powerful but very clumsy. A small error meant missing the target. In 1975, accuracy was a strategic nightmare. The Navy and Air Force were fighting. Each branch wanted its own tracking system. DARPA stepped in to force a union. They created a universal digital language. The public saw NASA as peaceful pioneers. The military viewed space as a battlefield. Deep inside the Pentagon, maps began glowing. Everything was hidden behind layers of security. Documents were shredded after every single meeting. The project had no official public name. Only a few men knew the truth. They were building a godlike observation eye. The Soviets were listening to the air. Every launch was a high-stakes poker game. Hidden ground stations waited for the pulse. The code was encrypted with heavy keys. Who gave the final launch order? The names are blacked out in archives. It was a ghost project with funding. The goal was total planetary transparency. They wanted to see every moving shadow. Dark rooms filled with blue tobacco smoke. The plan was moving toward the stars. The ocean floor was a blind spot. Submarines moved through total liquid darkness. They needed a fix for nuclear launches. Inertial guidance systems drifted too far. Every mile meant a failed mission. The Pentagon demanded a permanent solution. They merged celestial math with radio waves. This was a war of invisible lines. Every frequency became a secret battlefield. The Soviets were monitoring the high bands. Encryption was the only digital shield left. Data packets were hidden in white noise. No one suspected a global grid yet. It was a phantom infrastructure project. The budget was buried in deep files. Strategic dominance was the only true goal. They mapped the world before controlling it. Chapter 3. The Anatomy of Design. What does this orbital machine look like? It weighs nearly 800 heavy pounds. The Block I satellites were Brutalist masterpieces. Wrapped in gold foil and protective lead. Titanium shields guard the sensitive internal logic. Twin solar arrays provide the constant power. They look like wings made of glass. Toxic hydrazine fuel sits in spherical tanks. These machines operate in a frozen vacuum. They spin 20,000 kilometers above us. 24 eyes watch the curved Earth. The design focuses on pure thermal endurance. Space radiation is a constant invisible killer. Every component was tested in vacuum chambers. The frame is built to survive vibrations. Launch forces are violent and very loud. Engineers used specialized alloys for the core. Nothing is decorative on these steel birds. Redundant systems ensure a 10-year lifespan. If one part fails, another wakes up. The geometry of the orbit is perfect. Each satellite covers a specific global zone. Signals must pierce through the thick clouds. Antennas point directly at the silent dirt. It is a masterpiece of 1970s hardware. Solid-state electronics replaced the old vacuum tubes. The blueprint is a map of efficiency. It is cold, functional, and very heavy. The shielding used specialized lead glass layers. This protected the processors from solar winds. Cosmic rays are a constant orbital threat. Every circuit was hardened against heavy radiation. Aluminum frames provided the necessary structural rigidity. The satellite body was a Brutalist box. Gold-plated connectors ensured perfect signal flow. Wiring harnesses were tied with nylon cords. Thermal blankets kept the internal systems warm. Space is a graveyard for weak machines. Reliability was the only design metric here. They used redundant logic gates for safety. If one relay failed, another triggered. The machine was built to be immortal. It functioned without any human physical touch. The design was cold, heavy, and perfect. Chapter 4. The Heartbeat. The secret lives inside the atomic clocks. This is the heart of Project 621B. Rubidium oscillators vibrate in the dark void. They measure time in billionths of seconds. A regular watch is useless in space. The system relies on absolute time synchronization. If the clock drifts, the world burns. 1 microsecond of error equals 3 meters. The military cannot afford such a gap. These clocks are shielded from solar flares. They provide a steady, rhythmic digital pulse. The signal is a continuous stream of data. It carries the satellite's exact orbital position. Ground stations in Colorado monitor the drift. They send corrections back to the sky. It is a constant dialogue between machines. The software handles the complex math daily. Einstein's ghost haunts these orbiting metal boxes. Gravity moves slower far away from Earth. This is the reality of general relativity. The engineers had to code for time dilation. Without this, the map would drift miles. The clock is the most stable thing. In a world of chaos, it stays. It defines the rhythm of modern war. A heartbeat made of vibrating ruby atoms. It never sleeps and it never lies. The pulse is the foundation of navigation. The pulse traveled at light speed exactly. Even gravity altered the signal's arrival time. The satellites lived in a faster reality. We lived in a slower, heavier one. This difference created a massive navigation gap. Algorithms corrected the shift in real time. The math was relentless and very cruel. Proved Einstein was absolutely correct again. Every nanosecond was a measured tactical unit. The system synced every station on Earth. Ground antennas listened for the atomic hum. It was a chorus of ruby oscillators. They sang a song of pure synchronization. The world finally had one single heart. Distance was now a function of time. The grid was tightening its electronic grip. Chapter 5. The Logic Gate. The brain of the system is simple. It operates on a basic logic gate. The architecture uses an X leads to Y loop. It is an analog-digital hybrid processing core. Triangulation is the fundamental mathematical trap. 3 spheres of energy intersect at 1. The 4th satellite verifies the local time. This is how the receiver knows location. The data flows through rugged relay systems. It was designed to survive a nuclear blast. High-frequency waves carry the encrypted military code. The sensors do not see visible light. They only hear the delay of pings. Computers in 1975 were slow and huge. The satellite had to be very efficient. The master control station is the brain. It manages the entire constellation like puppets. Every movement is calculated years in advance. The algorithm handles the ionospheric interference mask. It filters out the noise of the sun. The logic is cold and very precise. If signal arrives at T, then distance. It is a relentless machine-driven geometric calculation. The software does not make any guesses. It only follows the programmed laws of physics. A digital web surrounds the entire atmosphere. The logic gate is always wide open. Processes the world 1 pulse later. The terminal flickers one last time. It is the birth of digital truth. No more guessing. No more human error. The 621B logic is now absolute. Tracks every single grain of sand. The grid is tight and cold. Data flows like invisible electric rivers. The machine breathes through binary codes. It defines where you stand right now. Earth is just a set of points. Geometry has won the silent war. The signal is your only shadow. The algorithm never forgets a coordinate. It calculates in total cosmic silence. The gate is locked and guarded. There is no escape from the math. The system is finally perfectly alive. One pulse defines the entire world. We are now inside the machine. The future is mapped in green light.